house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 17 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day are Danny and Jamie Gleech. Happy 18th wedding anniversary! That is so awesome. Alright, so they have some questions. First, who do I think is playing the best game so far? I'm gonna have to go with good old Johnny Mac right now. I feel like he's not really a big target for anyone. He's kind of flying under the radar, but at the same time, he's still building up cred with people. He's throwing competitions for people. So he's, racking up the favors. Also, he's racking up the comp wins with those Power Veto wins. So, that's going to look great on a Final 2 resume. You know what I mean? So, I think Johnny Mac is definitely playing a great game so far. And real quick, is Audrey the puppet master this season? I feel like Audrey is more like a chaos cast from Survivor type of person, but not as subtle. She gets everybody all worked up and freaking out, but everybody knows that she's the root of it. So I wouldn't say that she's the puppet master this season, but she's definitely mixing things up. Alright, so we have a lot to talk about. So let's just jump right in. Alright, so they had the Power Veto competition yesterday, and it was called Grunk and Roll, and it was that one from last season where you have to roll the cube around so that it ends up on a certain side. So Johnny Mac won the Power Veto. See, that's what I'm talking about. So after the competition, Vanessa seemed a little bit upset with Austin. Apparently, he threw it to Johnny Mac, or so he says. And Vanessa's not really happy about that. She saw it and she was just like, I think you could have gone faster. She did not want Johnny to win this veto because now she has to put somebody else up in his place. And she's not going to put up Audrey. And she's going to have some splaining to do to the rest of the house guests. So right now she's thinking, am I going to put up Jeff and get rid of him? Or am I going to put up another pawn to get rid of James? Decisions. Meanwhile, the other side of the house has no idea that they're under attack. They still think that Audrey is going to be backdoored and evicted this week. Wake up, people! Are you serious? You in danger, girl! So they're talking about taking out the twins so that maybe somebody who's already been evicted can come back instead. Somebody like Davon or something. So yeah, they really need to get it together. How can you not tell that you're in trouble? I don't get that. But anyway, it seems like Vanessa at this point is leaning more towards nominating Jeff and taking him out because she saw James is not that good at a lot of different competitions. So, he's not as big of a threat in the competitions as she thought he was going to be. So she's like, oh, it's no sweat. Let's get rid of Jeff. So she was talking to Audrey, and Vanessa is looking for a reason to nominate Jeff. She wants people to get behind this decision, and she doesn't want the blood on her hands. Whatever happened to telling someone, I'm nominating you because you're a threat to me and I want to see you get evicted? I mean, really. Audrey's suggestion is a little more subtle. She's like, why don't you tell him? No, I'm not even gonna bother. Okay, so she's like, why don't you put him up on the block and then say that you're doing this because you want James to go home and Jeff would be a vote for James to stay, so you're taking that away from him. So Vanessa is not really that into that idea, and Audrey's not into this conversation. She wants to talk about how people need to stop avoiding her, and she wants to be back in the loop, back in the swing of things, and Vanessa's like, yeah, whatever, we'll work on that next week. So then Vanessa and Shelly are chatting up in the HOH room, and they're talking about the dumbest thing ever. They're like, what if Clay's a twin too? What if there's a girl twin and a boy twin swapping? Really? So Shelly's just like, ooh, maybe I can get both. So Vanessa is telling Shelly how her trust with Austin right now is a little bit shaky because she doesn't like him throwing that Power Veto competition. I mean, she did try to throw it to Audrey, but that's okay. It's not okay when other people do it, though. So let's talk about Austin for a second. I have a message for him. Austin, get your life. Hey, Davon. But seriously, Austin was talking to Becky in the storage room, and he's just like, Becky, I know you're really good friends with Jackie in this house. Does Jackie like me? Circle yes, no, or maybe. Oh my god. So Becky is just like, you know, we don't really talk about you that much, so I'm not really sure, but we do know that you have a girlfriend outside of the house. So she brings that up, and he's just like, well, sort of. How do you sort of have a girlfriend? You either do or you don't. Like, there's something wacky going on there. But Austin needs to get his head out of the clouds and play the game. So I have a question for you guys. Are you ready for a takeover? I don't care because it's time anyway. So Vanessa comes out of the diary room with this envelope, and it has a message that's basically like, anytime Gronk calls you to a party, you have to do what he says, or you're gonna be a have-not for the week. So when he said there's no have-nots this week, he was lying. So a little while later, it's time for the first party. It's a shower party. Everyone has to squeeze into the shower and turn on the water for a little bit. And Jeff is just like, are we getting naked? No, Jeff. Maybe you will, but no one else is. So they managed to squeeze everybody in there. They turned the water on. Oh my God, so much fun. And then that was over. So then Vanessa and Steve have this long, drawn out chat in the HOH room. I mean, it was going on, and I was just like... So they were recapping the whole Meg and Audrey showdown. And what am I saying? My eyes are broken at this point. Oh, Vanessa's like, you know what, I'm starting to think that maybe Meg was lying in this situation because she got super defensive, she was really emotional about it, and that's usually a sign that somebody's lying. So Vanessa's just like, I don't know if we can trust that Meg. So then they were talking about how after that confrontation, Jeff was downstairs like rallying people up. He was like, we're gonna march up to the HOH room and we're gonna tell Vanessa that she has to nominate Audrey or else we're coming after her next week. So Steve is like, I don't know, I think that's a pretty good reason to give for when you nominate Jeff. Vanessa still does not seem satisfied with that reason either. Ugh. So Austin and Julia join them up in the HOH room. And the group decides they're gonna tell Shelly and Clay about Steve tomorrow. Let them know that he knows about the twins, pull him into the alliance and everything. So that means it's gonna be a 7-person alliance. 7 people. So then Steve leaves the room. You guys know how I feel about those giant like half-house alliances. It's just too much. So then Austin is bringing up this new theory to the group. He's like, what if Jeff and Jackie are married? Well, what if they're engaged? What if they're dating? What if they've met before? I mean, it just kept getting like downgraded. But he was like, yeah, I think they're part of this twist, and if they make it to the end together, they're gonna get $1 million. So he's like making up this fake prize that doesn't exist, and everyone's just like, yeah, imagine, that'd be so crazy. It's time to get down to business. Vanessa's got a plan. This is how she wants this to go down. She wants Austin to call out Jeff on some of the crap he said, some of the lies he's told, and they're gonna have Clay and Shelly there to back Austin up, help verify this information, and they want to make Jeff look like Audrey 2.0. That's a quote. And they want to make it so that Vanessa looks like a hero for taking out Jeff, Audrey 2.0. Oh my God, so great. I feel like Vanessa has this thing where like she has to be like the do-gooder or good-doer, either way, in the house, and like she can't just make moves. Like she has to make sure that she's like a hero for making these moves, and I think she's making it like way too complicated. Like just chill it a little bit. So there was a booze delivery, 2 bottles of wine and 6 beers. It's not much, but these people haven't been drinking, so things could get pretty crazy, especially with a staged fight coming up. But first I have some sad news for you guys. Giselle the giraffe has been deflated. They found her in the backyard and she's all like... So they decide that they're gonna have a funeral for her. They're all going around and like talking about how great she was and stuff. And it's like so sad. Seriously. It's also sad that like James was so sexually aggressive with Giselle. Stop, it's just wrong. So I blame him for her being deflated. But anyway, can't they just blow her up again? Can't they? no, they can't, because it's time for a toga party. So the house guests are all grabbing blankets, sheets, whatever, to fashion some togas. Then Big Brother plays like 2 seconds of music for them over the loudspeakers. Really? That's a great party. Yeah, okay, so then Meg and Vanessa are in the backyard, and they're discussing the whole confrontation with Audrey from the other day. And Vanessa's just trying to reason with her a little bit and be like, you know, I think it's possible that you guys were both telling me the truth, and like, I don't want you to feel like I was attacking you. I didn't want to make you cry. I wasn't trying to take sides or anything. And Meg is just like, I just want you to know, like, Audrey is always part of the drama. Meg is saying, like, she never gets in any confrontations like this ever in real life or really in the house unless Audrey's involved. Like, Audrey is an issue. Always. So then Jason and Jeff they both have the chance to talk to Vanessa separately, but I put them together because the conversations were very similar. So they were both pushing for Audrey to be the replacement nominee this week, and they're talking about how Audrey has wronged everyone. They're bringing up all this crap that she's done, and Vanessa, she knows that she's not putting up Audrey this week. She knows, but she's playing it off like she is. So she's acting like she's gonna do it, but at the same time, she's kind of like planting some seeds. She's like, you know, it's just like tearing me apart when I'm... No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go into that boy band song. But it's tearing her apart that she's gonna have to do this. And she's saying that Audrey hasn't really done anything to her personally, so like it doesn't really benefit her game to get rid of Audrey this week. And I just want to say, like, how quickly we forget. Don't you guys remember how upset Vanessa was when Audrey was spreading all those rumors about her? But anyway, I'm not saying that it's not a good move for Vanessa to keep Audrey this week. I'm like undecided about it. But anyway, the guys realize after this conversation, like, they are in trouble. But at the same time, Jeff doesn't realize that, like, he's the target right now. He's still like, what if she takes out James this week? Jeff, what if she takes out you? In any case, he's like freaking out outside. He's just like, what are we gonna do? Vanessa's being brainwashed by Audrey. Blah. It's time for a Gronk limbo party. Okay, so then Austin and Jeff are chatting in the cabana room, and Jeff is like freaking out again about Vanessa, and Austin is just like acting like he has no idea what Vanessa's up to. And it gets kind of weird because he's just like, yeah, Vanessa's like off her meds. She's going rogue. Like, I'm waiting until she's back on her meds to talk to her again. I felt like that was like kind of a not cool thing to say. But Jeff, in the end, is just like, you know, I have a deal with Vanessa. I should be safe this week. I'm just going to trust her. It's all good. I'm not going to, like, keep badgering her about putting up Audrey. So now it's time for Austin to get the ball rolling with the whole plan that Vanessa has put forward to get Jeff to look like Audrey 2.0. So the plan starts with James, and he's talking to him. Long story short, Austin gets James to sell Jeff out. James is just like, yeah, you gotta watch your back with Jeff. I think he's coming after you soon, maybe even next week. So then Austin brings this to Jeff. He tells him what James said, and Jeff is like, well, I'm not surprised that James would say that because he's up on the block right now. He wants to make sure he's gonna be safe this week and stay in the house. So then Clay and Shelly are in the room too. And Austin is like, well, what about when you said that Shelly has to go so we can work with Clay? And Jeff is just like, what are you talking about? He's denying everything. He's just like, what are you doing right now? Like, why are you coming at me like this, bruh? So then Vanessa comes in, and she's just like, yeah, Jeff, you told me that you didn't want to work with Clay and Shelly because they can't be trusted together and all this crap. And then Jeff is just like, I didn't say that, I didn't say that. So then Vanessa starts going off. She's calling Jeff a liar, and then she goes on this rant about, like, are you tripping right now? I am the HOH, and you're gonna talk to me like that when I'm the HOH this week. Ugh, I didn't like that. But anyway, this whole blow up happens, and now Vanessa has, like, her reason to put Jeff up on the block. she can be like, Jeff lied about this thing, he blew up at me, he's going home. So then Jeff was trying to smooth things over with Clay and Shelly. He was like, you know what, now that I think about it, I did say that to Vanessa. I did say that I didn't want to work with you guys, but that's because I didn't want to work with her, and I had to give her some sort of reason. Is that why? Also, Jeff, you're a few days too late because Clay and Shelly have been in on this plan for a while, so there's no convincing them, but he doesn't know that. So this morning, they had the Gronk hot tub party. Yay, everybody stuck their feet in for a few minutes. Followed a few hours later by the Congo party. You can just tell the house guests are over it by this point. It's just not fun. And then after that, they had the costume party. Everyone had to find some sort of costume and put it on. Yeah. So throughout the morning, it was mostly like the Gronk parties and then people recapping the fight that happened last night. But that's pretty much it. So we're going to pick it up here tomorrow, and the power veto ceremony should be tomorrow. I think we know what's going to happen. But I want to hear your thoughts right now on Vanessa's HOH. Do you guys feel like she's playing it well, or do you think she's kind of overplaying? Leave it in the comments and let me know. And until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.